So you got.
Do you mind just stating your name for us?
Jesse Rao.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm in the way of the camera.
Yeah.
Okay, so just tell me what happened. When did you find out if you were fired?
That would be yesterday. Yesterday, just before my shift started, I was on my way to work, and then they called me in for a meeting. So then I changed my plans and went to the meeting, and where they told me that I was fired. I understood that they were going to review this. It was going to take a long time because it was the day before. It took 5 hours for them to finish their, I guess, interrogation of me, and that was the conclusion. So it seems to me that they had already made their decision.
Okay. What did they say to you though?
That I'm terminated, and they didn't like certain things on my Facebook. I had 2 posts that were anti-fascism posts. It's something I'm very concerned about. Least we forget is the quote, right? I was in the army, and that's I don't want to. I think that history repeats itself when you forget it, and so I'm concerned about these issues. So I had 2 posts on my Facebook that were anti-fascism. They didn't like the nature of that. And the other reason is talking to the media about me being against this agenda that they put into my workplace.
But it's not an agenda. If Calgary Pride paid to have the bus advertised, which they did, it's not the fact that Calgary Transit has an agenda. It's the fact that somebody paid to advertise for an event, which is essentially paying your salary and everybody else who works for Calgary Transit. So how is it an agenda?
Yeah, well, the real truth, sir. Calgary Transit contributed $2,000, and it was their initiative. And Patterson contributed $7,000, and that was only because their 10-year contract with the city was running up. So this is a Calgary Transit initiative, sir.
So why didn't you just ask them not to ride on the route?
Well, ultimately, I was told that when I was applying to the city of Calgary, I understood that I was going to be working in a safe environment where others are not allowed to push their beliefs and ideologies on me, and that I also am not really supposed to be doing that at my workplace as well. And then they took advantage of the climate right now where people are afraid to talk about this issue, and they've now put pressure on all the employees, including the public, to quote unquote jump on board. And that's just not okay. And I was
all. That doesn't answer the question though. Why didn't you ask just not to be on the route?
Well,
otherwise none of this would have happened.
Well, because yeah, well, you have to be on the route. I mean, every bus driver in the city can receive that bus, and it's in service. So basically, what happens is you're on 6th Avenue and 2nd Street, or anywhere downtown, or anywhere in the city, and you're waiting to take over your bus, and a bus full of people shows up, and it happens to be the bus that is for this sexual event. And you have a few seconds to decide, well, are you going to jump on board? Or are you going to say, hey, sorry, all these people are going to have to wait while they supposedly replace the bus? When you know as a Calgary Transit employee that you can only refuse a bus for safety issues.
We have the video right there.
Yeah, and ultimately, I can play it for you. So they made a public statement that they would ask me to drive the bus. So
did you ever ask them? I would not like to be put on this route.
Well, that's really not the issue. The issue is that
the issue though. Because you're saying that you were terminated because of your beliefs.
Sir, he already answered you the question.
Excuse me.
Sir, he already answered you the question. Okay, you keep pushing it. He already answered you. Any more questions?
The stated reason on your dismissal that the city dismissed you.
There's a series of things. Maybe we might bring that out later.
What is the paper?
Ultimately,
here is the paper, and it's actually right here.
I've been told that it's illegal for me to bring this to the public, but so sue me, I guess.
Are you going to file a lawsuit for wrongful dismissal, or what's your next steps here?
Well, basically the ministry I'm part of is helping to protect me, so that's probably where we're going to go with this.
We are in the process.
Just a minute.
We are in the process of raising funds to hire a lawyer and fight with the city.
What about your union?
Well, I think that the union somehow is checkmated in this situation. The gentleman who sat beside me was the second from the top, Neil Armitage, and he seems like a bulldog fighter, and for some reason he was put in a position where he's not really able to defend me too much. When we left the meeting, he goes with the assumption that, hey, we're going to appeal this, but he also confided in me that it's not going to go anywhere. They're just going to slam it down.
Was there also something about you texting and driving?
Yeah, there
Is
were.
that one of the reasons there?
No, they couldn't do that because it's not true. So
It was proven to him not true. Like they already contacted him about that.
yeah, they told me there wasn't
What sort
that.
of correspondence did you have with the city before this meeting, before you were actually terminated? Once you kind of came out to the public on this, did they send you any letters or warnings, or what sort of communication did you have before yesterday?
Yeah, well, my performance partner, who we had a good relation, we have a good relationship. Had I guess it is now because I'm not with them. He gave me a call. It seemed to be on speakerphone. I wasn't expecting it. Kids are running around. I'm trying to run around, find a place to talk, and he said that we're not going to now assign you the bus, and please don't speak to the media. So I said, I don't have any plans to speak to the media, basically, and I'm comforted with the fact that they're not going to assign me the bus. In no way did I have the impression that means it's not an issue as far as you have to drive the bus or you're fired, and as well as all the other Calgary Transit employees. I mean, as far as I understood, that's all on the table. If they don't drive the bus, they're fired at that point. So
was that phone call before you first started talking to the media about this, or was that after?
Oh, that's after. Yeah, so the first media conversation that happened was with CTV, where they then sprung the question on the director, who said that that ultimately service has to go out, and we would ask them to drive the bus, even if they refused to. So that was the initial interview.
How long have you been a bus driver?
1 year.
So were you still on probation in any sense?
Yeah, my probation was ending very soon, and I really didn't want to wreck that. But I was going to Drumheller with my pastor, and he was doing an interview with the CTV gentleman, who then basically found out that I was working with Calgary Transit, and we're talking about this issue because with this ministry, we're concerned about these issues and what's going on in the city. We're concerned about the sex pride bus being presented, and so he was talking to the media guy, who then asked me my questions on it, and found out that I was with Calgary Transit. So Calgary Transit merged this ideology and social issue with my workplace, and then I could have ran, but I didn't.
So you were on probation, though. Technically, you were on probation.
Yeah, I have a few weeks left before my probation was supposed to be over.
Jesse, you said earlier.
When you first talked about this, you said you were willing to forego your job for your beliefs. It appears that's happened.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
It's something that I 100% expected to. Well, I started to get the impression that they were going to make the right decision on this because they're very, very friendly with me, but clearly that's not the case. And I knew that with these issues, whether you're a cab driver or a cake maker or whatever it is, you're getting fired. You handle it one way, you're in trouble. You handle it another way, you can. And so, especially after the Facebook approach with the being not for this movement, I expected that my job was totally on the line and definitely career advancement. So the fact that they fired me it's hurtful, but like I said from the very beginning, I knew that was going to be on the table.
So do you equate fascism with homosexuality?
I believe that the movement is unfortunately turning that way, where you can't sell as a business guy, or you can't work as a firefighter or teacher or whatever if you start to express your stance on the issue. And that's also it's very touchy too, because if you're, right here, what is it? Oh, sorry. Whether you're, these people here, 2015 parade entries. We have banks and City Calgary Police, Royal Mounted Police, Calgary Fire Department. So people's jobs are now literally being a part of the parade movement. And so when you are working at a bank and you say, hey, listen, I'm actually not for this movement. I didn't vote for this movement to be pushed on the city. I didn't vote for this to be the sexual movement capital of the West. I'm not for this. Well, your job is for this, and if you speak about it, you're speaking now on behalf of your job, I guess, because your job is bringing in this ideology in your workplace, and you can't speak about your job. So, what are you going to say? Your freedoms are you're checkmated, right?
How is a person's sexual identity a movement in your eyes?
That's not really what I said. That the movement ultimately is a sexual expression. For example, on the main page, their star guests that they are celebrating are gay porn superstars, and that I find an issue. I got little boys, got children. I'm concerned where society is going, hypersexual. Now, a 4-year-old boy was just taken from the Northwest while this event was taking place. That wasn't in the news. What happened to the 4-year-old boy? A little boy was just raped and left bloody, and his 4-year-old, I think his brother, was with them, and that person's now out of jail apparently on bail or whatever. That's in the U.S. There's all kinds of issues
What
taking.
does this have to do with gay rights?
Yeah, good, excellent question, sir. And it's not about gay rights. That's not how I would quote it. I would say it has to do with extreme sexual expression being pushed and promoted in our culture. That's the concern. Yeah.
Can we take a photo?